Good morning students. In this video you will be learning about the topic GDP and welfare. That is, we are going to answer a question: is GDP the real indicator of welfare? So what is meant by GDP? GDP is the total value of market value of all the goods and services that is produced within the domestic territory of a country within a period of 1 year, right? Goods means we talk about the final goods and services. So GDP is often considered as an index of welfare, and welfare, it means it is a sense of material well-being among the people. Material well-being is one of the dimensions of human well-being, and we measure material well-being based on a person's income or his consumption pattern or his possession of assets or wealth. So these are the parameters based on which we measure material well-being. And it, to a greater extent, it depends upon the per head availability of goods and services. GDP, we talk about the total value of goods and services, whereas welfare depends upon the per head availability. What is the per head share within this GDP of various goods and services that is produced? So look at this picture. So you might have come across the news headlines like India's GDP is growing this much rate, or compared to previous year we had attained GDP growth of this much, right? So does it indicate that welfare of Indians are increasing? That is what we are going to discuss. Higher GDP is generally taken as greater welfare of people. How means? GDP relates to production. Higher production will give us higher GDP. When more goods and services are produced within the country, more goods are available for consumption. As production is taking place, employment will be there, income will be generated, people will be able to purchase more goods and services, their consumption will go up, standard of living will increase, right? So this way, higher GDP is generally taken as a greater welfare of people. And there are at least 3 reasons why this may not be correct. So what are these 3 reasons, or why we consider GDP will not indicate welfare? Okay, higher GDP will not always indicate greater welfare of the people. So first reason is that distribution of GDP, how uniform is it? Even though goods and services are produced, or even though the market value of these goods and services are higher, how this GDP is distributed within the economy, that is also most important part which determines the welfare of people. If the GDP of country is rising, the welfare may not rise as a consequence. There is a chance that higher GDP will not lead to higher welfare. So what is the situation? So look at this picture. You can see that here one person is having more income, whereas this lesser portion of income is shared between these many people, right? So the increased GDP, the rise in GDP, it may concentrate in the hands of a very few individuals or firms. In that case, GDP, even though it is rising, it will not increase the welfare, right? For this person, or as per this picture, all the increased income is concentrated in the hands of one people, and rest, what about the rest? For the rest, the income may in fact have fallen. So income is coming down means their consumption will go down, right? So their well-being or welfare will also come down. So even though GDP is rising, for some of the people, welfare has gone down, right? That is one case. So we will discuss that with the help of one example. So look at this picture. Example is given. This is an example given in your textbook only. Suppose in the year 2000, we are talking about an imaginary country having 100 individuals, and each of these 100 individuals are earning rupees 10. So what will be the GDP? As we know that by income method, we will find out GDP by taking into consideration, or by taking the sum of all the factor incomes earned by the individuals, right? So 10 rupees earned by 100 individuals. 100 into 10 will give us 1000. So this is the GDP in this imaginary country, right? So let us consider another year, 2001. The same country, population is the same 100, whereas there is a slight variation in the income levels of individuals. 90 individuals are earning rupees 9 each, and the rest 10 individuals are earning rupees 20 each. So now what happened? For 90 individuals, income has come down by 1 rupee, and also for the remaining 10 individuals, income has doubled, right? From rupees 10 it has gone to rupees 20. Now what is the GDP? Find out the GDP here. 90% rupees 9 each plus 10% rupees 20 each. So GDP is 1010. When we compare this with the previous year's GDP, that is GDP of 2000, we can see that GDP has increased by 10 rupees, right? When we make a comparison between these 2 years, we can say that GDP of the year 2001 has increased by rupees 10 when we compare it with that is GDP in 2000, right? But what happened to welfare? Is it really increasing? That we can discuss with the help of this diagram. So in 2001, there is a drop in real income of 90% of the people. We can say that for the 90% of the people, or the 90% of the people are worse off than the previous year. For them, income has come down by rupee 1, right? For the remaining 10% of people, rise in their income by 100%. That is, for 10% of people, income has doubled. So what will be the GDP? Overall GDP had come down, right? We can't say that an increased GDP reflected in an increased welfare. So this way, distribution of GDP also is an important factor which determines the welfare of the people. So the first point is that even though GDP is increasing, the increased GDP must get distributed uniformly between various sections of the society. Then only we can say that increased GDP increases the welfare. I hope it's clear. We'll move on to the next slide. So second point is that second reason why we say that higher GDP will not indicate higher welfare. It is due to the existence of non-monetary exchanges. So in the previous classes, I mentioned about non-monetary exchanges. Non-monetary exchanges are the activities in an economy that are not evaluated in monetary terms. Examples we can see. So services of housewives. Women at home, they perform variety of tasks, right? We are not giving any monetary value to them, but if there is a provision to give a monetary value to their services, then it will have a national income which is, or we will get a larger figure, right? Here welfare is there, but national income is somewhat smaller, right? Due to the existence of non-monetary exchanges, national income figure is lesser, but the welfare of the people is more. Can you imagine a day without your mom at your home? You will get to know what kind of welfare you are enjoying by their services, right? So welfare is there, but it is not reflected in national income. The second example is kitchen gardening. That is, so many people are having their own kitchen garden, right? They produce whatever vegetables they require, they will produce at their garden itself. But this value, or the value of the vegetables or value of the fruits that they raise at the kitchen gardens is not being measured in national income. If we include this, we will get a larger national income. Here also income is lesser, but welfare is more. Then third example is leisure time activities. We perform leisure time or variety of leisure time activities which will definitely increase our welfare. And for example, you can see by reading a book, it will give me some amount of welfare. Or if I like to draw or paint, so this will give this will definitely increase my welfare. But As no monetary value is assigned to them, we will get only a smaller amount of national income, whereas welfare is larger, right? Why we are not including the value? But because data is not available, non-availability of data. But these activities definitely influence welfare. Economic welfare will be more, but national income will be lesser. So we will move on to the next point, that is externalities. Externalities is comparatively new term for you. So we will see what is this. Externalities refer to the benefits or harms a firm or an individual causes to another for which they are not paid or penalized. So we will discuss it. Externalities are either it can be a benefit or a harm. Okay, who are causing this? It can be a firm or an individual. They are causing this benefit or harm to other people, and for this benefit we are not paying anything, or these persons are not being penalized. Okay, I hope it's clear. Externalities refer to the benefits or harms a firm or an individual causes to another for which they are not paid or penalized. We don't have to pay anything for the benefits that we receive, or we are not penalizing, or we are not charging any penalty for the harm that they are causing. That is meant by externalities. So what is the relationship between externalities and welfare and GDP? That we will discuss. Externalities do not have any market in which they can be bought and sold, and activities which result in benefits to others are termed as positive externalities, and activities which result in harm to others are termed as negative externalities. If we analyze one example, you will get it more clear. So let us take this picture. It is a factory, right? The factory is dumping the waste to the nearest water source, and it is polluting the water. So in GDP, we will calculate the value of goods and services that is produced by this factory, right? But we are not allocating any cost to the pollution that is being charged or done by this factory. This pollution, of course, it will have its effect, negative effects on the people or the aquatic animals that are living in this water source, right? So this way they are causing harmful effects for other people or for other organisms also, but we are not charging anything. This will definitely reduce the welfare of the people. Even though GDP is there, even though production contributes goods and services and it is added in GDP, we are not accounting for the harmful effects by which the welfare has been reduced, right? The people who are living in that area will get affected, like they will have health issues, right? And they will have to pay medical expenses for that. So these kind of charges we are not accounting for, we are not deducting these charges from this GDP. Even though GDP is higher, welfare will be lesser. So how positive externalities cause benefits, or how it is affecting the welfare, that we will see. For example, if I am deciding that I will go to my workplace by walking, so I am helping other people by avoiding, that is accident, chances of accident are less for me. I am not using any vehicles, or that I am not causing any pollution to the environment, right? I am not a part of this congestion. So traffic, I will not add to the traffic congestion. So this way I am causing benefit to the people so that they can experience more welfare. So this way positive externalities, they increase welfare, and as we are not accounting the positive externalities in national income, and we are underestimating the welfare. Even though national income is lesser, welfare is more there, we are underestimating the welfare. Whereas as far as negative externalities are concerned, negative externalities reduces welfare and we are overestimating the welfare. GDP will be higher, but welfare is lower. That is, we are overestimating the welfare, right? So these are the factors which limit the performance of GDP as an indicator of welfare.